Hello, I'm c.weighill from the University of Surrey, HR Systems Advisor, and I thought it would be useful to share with you how we're going about changing our Excel HESA data into the XML format and then passing that through the validation. To start with, just going to have a quick look at the files you're going to need in order to do this. First off, you're going to need to go to the HESA website and get the 3 XSD files that relate to this year's HESA return. That's these 3 files here, the C12025 and the data types and code lists. In order to save those as XSDs, if you're using Internet Explorer, you'll need to right click and save target as, and then change this XML to XSD. We've already done that, so we'll come back to that in just a second. So once you have all 3 of those saved, all in the same folder, you'll also need to have the demo or dummy HESA map, which HESA Liaison have kindly provided to us. That is this one here, which we've called basic because that shows just one person with one contract and one activity. Now in reality we do have people with more than one contract and more than one activity, and the way which an Excel conversion works, we can't simply replicate this for every individual. So we just go through the slight changes you'll have to make to this basic information in order to create a map in Excel and then populate that data in a way that will allow validation by HESA's validation kit. So HESA Liaison also sent through a demo which shows how they want people with multiple contracts and multiple activity to be recorded. So you'll see with this initial person that they have 2 activity codes coded 50-50, and on this second person record they have 2 contracts, first contract here and second contract here, both with 1 activity. Again, we can't simply map this across into Excel, we have to make a slight adjustment to this. So working from basic is probably the easiest way first off. So copying that across to a new sheet, we're using Notepad++, but this works equally well in Notepad. You just won't have the colours which help identify different components. You'll see what we've done is initially this previous HEI here, this coding with the exclamation mark at the beginning actually puts it in a slightly different place in Excel than it should be when we come to validate that. So what we've had to do is just to change that. We've taken out the exclamation mark followed by the 2 dashes here, so that it actually inputs a previous HEI into the map, and you will see that further down here in this record, which we would expect to see a previous HEI because of the previous employment being 01. The next thing we've done is to add in 3 activity centres, which is the maximum allowed by HESA. These can be blank, but what you'll have to do is to change the name from just activity to be activity 1, activity 2 and activity 3. Then we've taken the contract information and we have suffixed that with a 1 and a 1 here to close that, and for the next contract we've gone contract 2, contract 3, contract 4. Now we ran an exercise to see the maximum number of contracts an individual would have, and for that we took our 2012 data from the contract table, and using the staff ID, which is the HESA staff ID down the left, we then took the contract ID and placed that into values using a simple pivot table. Taking all this data minus the grand total and copying that across as values, we then sorted by the second column, largest to smallest, which identified for us that we had a maximum of 4 contracts to any one ID. So now we've got 3 and 4 contracts. We copy that down across into the 2 the second record here as well. XML requires at least 2 pieces of data in order to create a map so that it can recognize patterns. So once we're happy with that, we can save that as master. We save it separately from basic and full, just in case we do need to go back to the original information. From there, you'll want to open up Excel, and you'll want to enable the developer tab in the ribbon. So if you right click onto the ribbon in any place and customize, it'll come up with this option, developer. Click OK, and you've now got the developer tab. Open up a new sheet, and we want to find a source, and for that source we're going to use our master XML. So go ahead and open that. It'll come up with a warning regarding the Clinard field. We can ignore that, just click OK and OK on that. We're not sure why that comes up, but there's no problems through validation on that one. Once you've got that in there, you can click OK, and you'll see that we've now got the institution followed by the person, and this symbol here means that there can be multiple values within that. We've then got contract and activity subcodes, and contract and activity subcodes up to 4 times. What you want to do is grab person and drop that to A1. That can then be populated with all of your HESA ID information. It's worth having a look back at the values provided by HESA in order to get the formats right. For example, dates have to be in the year, month, day format, and there are some fields which have a 2 or 3 number count, character count, whilst others have simply got 1. So we've used their demo data to simply extract that across, and we can go ahead and copy all of this right to the end here. And of course this would perhaps be up to 3,000–4,000 for our actual return, but in this case we're just going to use 2 to test the validation system. So we take that back into our new area, and we simply paste that across, and you can see that it's preserved the formatting as well. We can then verify the map for export, and hooray, we are able to export it. From here we can save as, and for now we'll save it in the same area as everything else, saving that as XML data, and for this purpose we'll just call this HESA. Ignore this message, you can just click continue. That is then saved as XML data, so we can then close that down. From here we do still need to do a little bit of editing for the XML code. So within your XML data editor, go ahead and open the HESA XML. You'll notice that the institution information is missing. We can quickly rectify that by going to Basic and selecting these first 4 rows. This is our UKPRN. You'll want to replace this with your information and simply paste that over those first 3 rows, and then we can scroll down and start editing some of the important information here. So you'll see here that because this has only got one activity, activity 2 and activity 3 are in fact blank. So the quickest way we found to get rid of this is by using the find function, Control F, and replacing anything which is activity 1 with activity, replacing all, and doing the same for activity 2, activity 3, and then we have these blank records. We can also do the same here for contract. 2, 3, 4. We then need to get rid of these areas where there are no data. So again, using the replace function, we need to input this for activity / and then bracketing that with the less than, more than indicators, and we can replace all with nothing. Now, unfortunately, we found no quick way to edit the remaining contract information where there are blank contracts. So at the moment we're seeing this as being a slightly labour intensive scroll through each person record. However, you'll see there we've closed off one contract under one person, and we'll do the same here for this contract. At this point, we can go ahead and we can save this, and we're just going to change this to HESA 2012-13 just so that we can see how this goes through validation. So we open up HESA's validation kit and we browse for the data. At this point, we can validate. And everything has gone through. There are no errors, no rule errors, no rule warnings, and it's processed 2 records. Obviously, there might be some things, some rules, some things in the summary that we do have to check, but provided there are no schema errors, that's the main thing which we need to watch out for in this XML mapping. I hope this has been useful. If you'd like to discuss anything further, please do email me. My email is c.weighill, that's WEIGHILL @surrey.ac.uk. And as I say, also happy to take phone calls, but so please do email and I can provide that information to you. Thank you.